Hello! Coffee here. Before I get started, let me just apologize for the noise. I got two kittens behind my curtain that are playing with each other. And one of them is particularly noisy. On another note, before I get started, I can't turn it too much because I got coffee in it. Legend of the Erased mugs are official. If you want one, we have a 11-ounce coffee mug for $12, and we have 15-ounce mugs for $17. Okay, so let's get on to the main subject. We're doing another question and answers video. Creators, what is your tips and tricks for staying motivated during the working process? Okay, and without any further ado, let's jump right into it. By Xabriel Ruiz Yobodies? I don't know how to pronounce this. Sometimes music. But for me at least, the best is anime. Makes me think one day I'll see one of my stories animated. That's always a really good motivation. It's also a trick in how to storyboard and visualize your work. If you can visualize it as an anime with the different camera angles, you can put it into a manga. Because you already have the camera angles and the scenes you would like to see. You just gotta take the keyframes and put them into panels. Alright, by Olga Rogalski. I am really sorry if I butchered your name, I know I did. Phase 1, music and TV, to get myself in the mood. Phase 2, coffee with honey or green tea. Phase 3, bribery, stuff that I want, that I really want. I award myself points for finishing a certain quota, and if I reach a certain amount of points, I gift myself with the stuff in question. Before I continue on with this, I want to comment on a couple of these. Phase 1, TV and music. If you don't like working in silence, it's really good to have music and TV in the background. For background noise, and if you're listening to music, use the kind of music that is trying to portray your scene. And on phase 2, coffee. Of course, I'm all with coffee being a motivator. I haven't tried coffee with honey though, so I can't really comment on that. But teas. I've recently gotten to be a really big fan of teas, hot teas. I prefer vanilla chai or the sweet tangerine. But let's continue on with the comment. Phase 4. Put on the director's cut of Lord of the Rings and don't stop drawing till Frodo boards the ship. That keeps me busy for at least 10 hours. And in extreme cases, Phase 5. Lists. I make a list of the things that I have to do in a certain amount of time. It's usually long term. Phase 6. A timer. This is in extreme cases when time is really short and I calculate how much work I have to do in a certain amount of time. That way I want screen tone 38 pages in 48 hours, by giving myself 1 hour to screen tone each page. The time that was left, I used to apply effects with white ink. It is only advisable in rare situations though. I haven't used traditional screen tone. I would really like to. I really want to go full traditional. Does it really take that much time to screen tone? It seems like you would just slap it on and it would be done. But if that is indeed not the case, I don't know. I really wanted to start using traditional screen tones. I want to go full traditional on everything except for the dialogue. But let's keep going. Once again by Olga Rogalski. Also, it's kind of self-explanatory, but think about what your goal or goals are. What do you want to achieve? No dream or goal is too big. If you can visualize what you want, if needed, make a poster of it and put it on your wall around your workspace. Sounds crazy, but it helps. Now, think about the work you are doing as a part of the path of getting there. Every minute, every hour that you invest brings you nearer to your goal. If the stress gets too much, meditate. It works. Or exercise. Dancing, yoga, or aerobics worked for me. If you feel like going crazy, take a walk. Sometimes even 10 minutes outside can reboot your brain. This is extremely necessary. If you have a tight schedule and you are pumping out pages around the clock, like you give yourself maybe 5 hours to sleep and the rest of the time is manga, you're going to go crazy. And if you're okay with working that many hours, maybe you already are. That's kind of where I'm at. But every hour or 2 hours or so, every time you start to lose focus, get up and take a stretch. You know, use that time to refill your cup of coffee. Use that time to take a 30-minute break to go through your social media. To, I don't know, study on something that you need to study, take a stretch, anything like that. Take a 30-minute break to play with any of your animals, if you have a dog or a cat. Or even if you have a lizard or a squirrel. I don't know. I don't know what you got. Alright, by Brian Morales Andres. I don't know. I'm sorry. Do not procrastinate. No. Procrastination is the devil to manga artists and comic artists. This is something that my dad taught me. The more you sleep, the more you want to sleep. And if you're sleeping on your manga, you're going to keep sleeping on your manga. Don't sleep on your manga. Work on it until it becomes part of your overall mental processes, to where you dream of your manga. Well, maybe that's going a little bit too far, but alright, by Jacqueline Clark Such. Take short scheduled breaks if you're feeling overwhelmed. Self-affirm with comforts like your favorite tea, fragrances, or music. And always make sure you're constantly self-checking. Ask yourself, what do I need to be doing right now in this very moment? And do it. If it's something related to your own health or home, don't put that off to try to over-involve yourself in a project. This is a type of self-destructive behavior that a lot of artists end up victims of. Yeah, that at that very moment, you may feel super inspired, but if you keep putting off stuff to take care of yourself, it quickly piles up and can go from meh to completely overwhelming and stifling to the creative process. A clean and well-maintained space, as well as a well-maintained body, is always more conducive to creative freedom than the otherwise. This is something I took like a 2-month-long class when I was in high school about work ethic. And the teacher gave an example. When you wake up in the morning, eat the frog first. Now, as gross as that sounds, there was actually a story to go with it about a man who had a really tight schedule, but every morning when he'd get up, he would find the worst thing on his to-do list and do it first. That way, the rest of the day, everything else is easier. If you do the hardest thing first, like, let's just say you have to do laundry today. You have to wash your sheets today. As soon as you get up, go ahead and get that done. Otherwise, even if you don't realize you're thinking about it, those sheets and those clothes and that laundry is going to be on the back of your mind as you're writing. And every few minutes, you're going to be looking back at your disgusting pile of laundry and be like, ugh, I need to do that. But if you go ahead and get it done, you don't have to worry about it. You just have to worry about your manga. As previously mentioned, every few hours or so, every hour, take a stretch, take a breather, take something to, clear your mind. A cluttered mind cannot create art. Think of it as like a paintbrush with clogged paint on it. It's not going to create a beautiful picture. It's going to create a mess. Now we're down to Adnan bin Mahi. Imagine your drawing coming to life. Sometimes when I draw, I usually act out the scene I have in mind. That includes expressions and actions the characters will be doing. For some reason, that gets me excited to see how the drawing will come out. I think this is a thing that a lot of artists do. If we're trying to draw an expression, we will actually sit there making that expression. I've been called out many times by my fiance and my family. Why do you look so angry? You look so terrified while you're writing. I'm just like, yeah, I'm writing some pretty dark stuff. I gotta get the expression right, so I have to have the expression right. By Atul Aniket. Your name is Coffee, and you ask for motivation. Coffee is always a good motivator. Unless you get a bad cup of coffee, then it's a demotivator. And then there's always the caffeine crash, which the solution to that is just drink more coffee. Good health advice. Once again, by Olga Rogalski. By the way, how good is your computer? A lot of people concentrate on just drawing and neglect to realize that there is a ton of creative jobs that have to do with drawing that are not drawing. Like 3D stuff. You know, there are free and powerful 3D programs out there which you can use not only to create models of your own characters, but also to animate them. Even in 2D animations nowadays, there are a lot of 3D used to cut corners. Why fret too much about extremely complex camera angles when you can model, animate, and render it, and then use it as a reference for keyframe? Don't just concentrate on drawing, branch out in different fields. I get what she's saying, but at the same time, I feel like if you find any reason to cut corners, I mean, sometimes you have to cut corners to keep up with deadlines and whatnot, but if you train yourself to cut corners, then when you can't cut the corners, like let's just say you have to draw a complicated pose or whatever, but you don't have your 3D characters with you. Let's just say your computer has crashed or whatever. What are you gonna do then? You didn't teach yourself the basics of drawing, so you don't know how to draw it without the 3D computer anymore. Which in the beginning, it's fine if you use shortcuts, or if you're at a, really tight spot with deadlines. But I don't recommend becoming reliant on cutting corners. Alright, let's just go ahead and wrap this up with the last few comments. Well, this name is in Japanese, so I'm not going to be able to pronounce it. Like in the Japanese kanji. Throw on a playlist of fire beats. Works every time. Music is a great motivator. By Shinu Flight. I take a lot of other artists' great works, and I either get super motivated to do the same, or realize that I'm shitty and a lazy artist, and go back under my blanket of procrastination. Never procrastinate. And the final comment by Olga Hein? I am sorry. When it's a paid job, empty fridge, empty stomach, or empty bank account. When it's not paid, but for an occasion or a project, approaching deadlines, and the knowledge that nowadays every single fail stays on the internet forever. Alright, that's all we got. Alright, we're almost at 15 minutes here, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it off. Let me know what you think. What motivates you? What inspires you to keep doing this grueling work of creating comics and manga? I'd really like to know your answers. And Legend of the Erased is out for pre-order. The release is happening in October. The minimum pre-order is $15, and not only do you get the book, but you get a few stickers and a few buttons. Pretty much whatever I can fit in the envelope when the book is shipped to you, it's gonna be full of stuff. Have a nice day.